Black Clover New Timeskip. Today we explain how the Dwarf Kingdom, the Land of the Rising Sun, and perhaps even the Land above the Spade Kingdom will be introduced for the final story arc, and how this might be related to the Black Clover 2-year timeskip that will eventually happen very soon. Lucius Zogratis is simply too powerful at the moment, so a timeskip is inevitable. We show you when exactly it might happen and what power Asta will gain during the timeskip. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! We've already talked about the fact that we think it's possible that Black Clover will get a second timeskip, but things have changed a little bit. So we have to reevaluate a few things. In fact, our opinion has changed from there might be a timeskip to there definitely has to be a timeskip. 2 years because it feels that 6 months is just not enough to become the strongest Wizard King, especially now that the enemy is literally the current Wizard King himself. And as if that wasn't enough, it seems like Julius Novachrono as Lucius Zogratis and Devil host for the time Devil Astaroth is now stronger than ever. Many people underestimate Julius' strength because he lost to Patri, but in reality Lucius made Julius lose because that was the only way for the elves to reincarnate, which allowed Patri's soul to be separated from William's body, making William suitable for the qliphoth ritual, which Julius eventually used to obtain Lucifero's devil heart. Fact is that it would actually take Lucius only a few seconds to defeat Patri, period. He is that powerful. Lucius will probably solo the entire Clover Kingdom at this point. Just look at what Lucifero alone did in the Spade Kingdom with only 50% manifestation. And now imagine what Lucius could do with 100% of Astaroth's devil power. It is simply beyond insanity. The power level between Lucius and the main characters of this series is just too gigantic to make a victory against Lucius believable, without Asta and Liebe investing a lot of time in training. Now Lucius has even received Lucifero's devil heart, which could possibly make him even stronger depending on what he will use the heart for. After all, Lucifer is the king of devils, at least that's how he presented himself. And with the latest revelation that Lucifero's real name is Satan, this is as good as confirmed. Perhaps Lucifer is the king because of his ability to interact with lower ranked devils, and thus control them in some way. At least we have seen how he wanted to control Liebe when he killed Lysita. And now that Lucius has Lucifero's heart, he may be able to control all the devils of the underworld. I'm sure he could even open the remaining qliphoth gates in some way. After all, Lucifero managed to manifest himself in the human world because of this ability. It is only natural that the final saga of Black Clover will be about the remaining qliphoth devils. All of them are extremely powerful. Some, maybe even all of them, could possibly be stronger than the 50% manifestation of Lucifero. So it is more than crazy to assume that Asta can stand against such opponents. So how is this going to work? Of course, power-ups are the solution to everything. You have tax problems? Here, power-up! Just beat the living out of these. Okay. Anyway, we all know that there's no question about it. Power-ups is the solution, always. But this is exactly where the problem lies. In the 2 years since Asta and Liebe received their grimoires, they have grown stronger at a rapid pace. In just 18 months, Liebe has even managed to become the vice captain of the Golden Dawn at only 17 years old. And let's face it, he's already stronger than his own captain. It's just incredible. But up to this point, it was all still on the edge of acceptability. Even the final power-up Asta received in the final seconds of the Spade Kingdom War, which allowed him to defeat Lucifero, feels just about acceptable, although this was already borderline. And that's exactly the problem. It's a problem that doesn't exist in Black Clover yet. But if Tabata doesn't change something about how his characters get huge power-ups in a short amount of time so that they are suddenly stronger than their opponents, Black Clover could end up being a little less great than it currently is. For now it all makes sense, but now they have to train long and hard to be able to defeat Lucius. Otherwise, it will just be unbelievable. Imagine there's no time skip and they're going to go into battle against Lucius right after they arrive in Clover Kingdom. How will they get stronger now? With the power of friendship? Oh hell no. So what Black Clover needs is a real time skip, not 6 months. Who wants to see Asta become the Wizard King at only 17 years old? Man, Asta still wants to smash Sister Lily, he's a kid. But 19-20 is a good age for a reasonable explanation of why either Yuno or Asta could really be the Wizard King. And 2 years for training so they have a chance of defeating Lucius in his full power. With all the remaining qliphoth devils and a possible army of all the devils of the underworld seems much more realistic. Unless Tabata has a really good solution without the time skip, because that's the only way I can see Black Clover making any sense at this point in terms of the power level. But it's not just the power level that makes the time skip necessary, but also the whole build-up that Tabata has been preparing over the last few years, leading up to the final war. All of this takes time to prepare. Not for Tabata, but for the people in the world of Black Clover. Of course, we can assume that only a few people will save the world, so the main characters Asta, Yuno, Silva, Yami, Nacht, and maybe a few captains. And maybe a few other characters from other kingdoms. But that's just weird. Obviously, the whole world has an interest in fighting for freedom, because if Lucius achieves his goal, they will be all dead, even if he plans to revive them with undying bodies. Eventually, they will then come under his control, especially if he has the ability to control all demon-like creatures with the help of Lucifer's heart. And besides, who wants to die anyway? It doesn't matter what he plans to do after that. So we are talking about people who want to fight for their own interests, such as the Diamond Kingdom with Mars as the leader, since he now controls the kingdom from the shadows. The Heart Kingdom is the closest ally of the Clover Kingdom, and of course the Spade Kingdom. Obviously, they know better than anyone what it means to live under the control of the Zogratis family. But then there's also the Witch Forest. Here, however, it's a bit complicated since we don't really know on which side the Witch Queen will fight. This is because there are a lot of hints that she might have something to do with the devils. First, she wanted to gain control over Asta, just as Lucius wanted to use Asta for his own purposes, so she's definitely not the prime example of a good person. Furthermore, there's also the possibility that she might have something to do with the Zogratis family because of some strange connections. Like for example the Baphomet head in her hole, which symbolizes loyalty to the devils in demonology. In addition, there's also a hint in the book Faust, which was used as a reference for Nacht. In this book, the devil Mephisto visits a witch who worships devil and even possesses an elixir that allows her to live forever, just as the Witch Queen in Black Clover possesses such an elixir. At the same time, she's also the only one besides the Zogratis sibling whose age is unknown, and both the Witch Queen and the Zogratis siblings do not seem to grow older for some reason. Why the Zogratis siblings do not grow older is unknown. Some believe it is time magic, but of course it could have something to do with the Witch Queen. This possibility cannot be ignored. Who knows, maybe the Witch Queen herself is a Zogratis, or maybe she's just into demonology. The point is, there could be a connection. Then of course there's the Land of the Rising Sun, which has been hinted at several times. If Yami finds out what the situation is and how much manpower is needed, it is not unreasonable to think that they will at least try to contact his homeland, and who knows, maybe even Yami's homeland will be the one to contact the continent of the Four Kingdoms. Then there's also the underwater temple, the elves, and just about anybody who can fight. And especially the dwarves with the earth spirit gnome, an entire race that has disappeared from the surface of the earth for hundreds of years. They are extremely powerful, comparable to the elves in terms of magic power. And this of course is where Asta's training might come into play. Asta simply cannot become the strongest warrior in the world if he will not train properly. He has shown that he was able to control Licht's swords the way they are actually supposed to work. It's only logical that by the end of the series, Asta will have full control over the true capabilities of the swords, as Licht used them in the fight against Asta and Juno. So who can teach Asta that? Licht is dead and there's no one known to use such swords. But if we assume that the dwarves are the creators of these swords, then they can not only teach Asta how to use them properly, but also give him a new weapon. In mythology, the dwarves are waiting for a worthy warrior to whom they can give their legendary weapons. So if Asta visits the dwarves and proves himself worthy, it is likely that they will even give him a final weapon stronger than any sword he has ever used. Another reason why Asta needs a lot of time to train is that he and Liebe don't seem to have really understood the true nature of anti-magic yet. All he can do so far is use anti-magic with his swords, but in the Spade Kingdom, Asta has clearly shown that he has somehow begun to manifest anti-magic outside of his body. For example, with the black orbs, or when the anti-magic escaped from his body and Mimosa couldn't heal him because of it. Or when the combination attack Dark Shadow Magic Kids Playground couldn't support Asta. So this could definitely be some kind of anti-magic awakening. Asta needs to focus on mastering this ability, especially if he wants to use the original sword's ability at the same time as anti-magic. That should pretty much explain why a time skip is necessary. The same goes for Yuna and Noel and all the other magic knights who are far from ready for the coming war. And of course there's the mysterious land above the Spade Kingdom, which could also become more important. We have seen since the beginning of the series that Tabata has strongly hinted that there is a great mystery above the Spade Kingdom, and in one of the openings we even saw how a dark power from above the Spade Kingdom has spread to the entire continent. Perhaps Yuno's mother knows more about this. Let me know in the comments what you think of this theory. Do you think there will be a second time skip, and if so, how long will it last? If you like this video, please leave a like, it really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more Black Clover content, theories, and soon Black Clover chapter reviews, then subscribe to our channel with the notification bell activated. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!